The decisions that we make will be wise and will benefit all of the people of Shiawassee County. We give thanks for your direction to us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, this time I ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Webster.
Here.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Garber.
Here.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Emery.
Here.
And Chairman Broder.
Here. Everybody's here. This time I would entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Any changes to the agenda? All in favor of approving tonight's agenda as is, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the September 11th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved. Support.
Got a motion with support. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Commissioner Garwood, let's move on to the bills.
All right. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 9/10, 9/12, 9/13, 9/20, 9/23, 9/27, 9/30, 10/3, 10/11, and 10/18 in the amount of $13,246,961.35 and authorize Treasury to draw warrants for that amount.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on the bills? Roll call vote, please.
Excuse me, was that Commissioner Howard? That's thank you. Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Garber.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Emery.
Yes.
Commissioner Webster.
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes. All right, the bills are approved. At this time, we have the first opportunity for the public to address this board. We have up to 3 minutes. I have one slip up here. Orland Stringham, please.
Yeah, I thought I'd stop by and just give you my thoughts. Anyway, on these vans that you were proposing to buy for the veterans, you know, I've been a mechanic for all my life, pretty much, other than dairy farm. And you can't tell me that the 5-year-old vans are all wore out. My taxes keep going up every year, and my Social Security don't. And me and my wife are skipping by as it is. And I'm sick and tired of my taxes constantly, every year going up far more than what our income is. Then addressing these runabouts for the Shiawassee Speedway. I believe that they should furnish those. They're pouring a lot of money into that place, so what's another $15,000 to them instead of my tax money going for that? Give them some walking sticks if they're gonna walk around there for security. That's my thought, but we'll leave it at that. And the other thing that's really irritating me is all these permits going in for solar farms. Been around farms all my life, and it makes me sick to see all this good land getting tore up for solar farms. It's worthless after it's done. And it seems like there's no stop to it in Shiawassee County. And if it tries to come in my area, I'll fight it. Every way, shape, or form I have to with the best I can. So that's all I got to say, but just take it into consideration. Because I can think of a million places where that money could go, and I'm not even on the board. Some of these roads around here, nothing's being done with them. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, let's move on to committee reports. Commissioner Holzhausen, we start with you tonight.
Okay. I'm on the 911 board, and they got the tower up, and that's moving right along. So also on the Shiawassee Senior Citizen Board, and they're going to put a new roof on over there at Morris. It's going to cost, and then they're also, the building's got mold on it, so they're going to have somebody power wash it off with a big power washer. I was the only one who voted no, so. They did. I said, I just put on some simple green and squirt it off, it'll come off. You don't need to spend a couple $1,000 on that, but that was me. And I'm on the Shiawassee Economic Board with Justin Horvath, and there was about, I think, at least six small businesses got grants, and they got grants going along all the time. And they're going to have a special meeting November 13th. The state's got some kind of regulation that employees, you got to turn in some kind of special report. No matter, even if somebody works for you and you turn in a 911 or not a 911, a tax report, you got to file that to the state or something. So it's going to be a big mess. They got a meeting that everybody can go to. And also, I'm on the Health and Wellness Board, and the state's wants to more things done, but they're not sending the money. So it's the same difference with everything. So that's it. My report. Now, unless somebody's got some questions.
I'm in favor of simple green. That is amazing stuff.
2 or 3 people there never even heard of it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Mr. Garber?
I have nothing today, thank you.
Nothing? Darlene?
I'll just, a quick update on CCAV. We had our meeting today. We were awarded the grant, as all of you know. And Mark Durkee, it was probably the longest meeting we've had as he started walking through the specifics of what all of that will look like. And the board had a long discussion about the adjustments they want to have. We're continuing to work with all of the county officials related to that issue of some judges and courts and those entities to make sure that it aligns with the processes that they all want to have in place. So it was a really good, productive meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, parks, we met, we talked about the color
Excuse me.
roof we wanted to put on the Kirby Road building, so we chose a dark green, kind of match the other roofs. We're also gonna put on the fascia on the outside of that, so that building will be in good physical shape to be prepped and rehabbed when the time comes. And that time is, if we get the grant, which we're waiting for approval of, and that should come sometime late October, early November. We will be on hiatus on that board until springtime, unless we get the grant, in case then we'll need to plan, but if we don't, we won't meet again until spring. So I won't have a report for that for the next few months. Planning Commission, we approved a farm stand at a local farm where they're gonna market and sell their own produce that they grow there on site, and their own meat and poultry and everything, so that's great to see that coming into the community, and another option for people to buy local, and you know it's in your food and it tastes better. And they mentioned being approved for EBT stamps and that type in WIC, so they're trying to get that approved as well, so those with that ability can go and get food there. And they were also going to have a delivery service, so that's a great new opportunity for people to, maybe if you can't get around or you don't have an extra car, they can come and deliver food to you.
And where's that again?
Is it Benton?
Bennington Township,
Yeah.
so.
And it's a woman-owned, like
Yeah.
25-year-old woman who's doing
Yes.
this business. It's
And she
really
was
awesome.
very enthusiastic, so
Yeah.
that was great to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Emery?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything to do with it.
All right, very good. Then moving along to committee motions and reports. Mr. Howard, can we start with you, please?
Absolutely. I move to approve the 2024 drain assessments as proposed.
Support?
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on that?
This is just, that's the amounts that of tax that Tony plans to levy for this year and his projects.
No, unless somebody's got a question.
All right.
No questions?
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the apportionment report and direct the spread of taxes in terms of millage rates to be spread on taxable value.
Support.
I have a motion with support.
Very briefly, this is not taxes that you're levying per se, it's taxes, it allows all of the taxing entities to establish their rates based on their amount all over schools, cities, villages, etc.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve 2 rehabilitation mortgage discharges for Tracy Marie Pullian of 301 North Brook Street, Owasso, and Bernadette Proper of 801 Michigan Avenue, Owasso.
Support.
I have a motion with support. It's pretty standard. We've been doing a lot of these.
Program, they have reached their fulfillment of their obligations and mortgages are being discharged.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the proposal from Honeywell to upgrade the HVAC control systems in an amount not to exceed $18,150.
I'll make the motion.
Motion with support.
This is to replace the control system that regulates the temperature and airflow in the building and mixes with outside air. It's the last of 3 components that we've had to repair and replace for district court.
It's been difficult. It was difficult over the summer. It got hot there. Tim managed to patch it together for a little while.
Yeah.
And some of our initial estimates were actually much higher than we've paid in total.
We had gotten some substantially larger estimates, but replacing just the condensers, fixing the welds and the plenum, and then replacing this computer system.
And I'm sure it will be the last thing we'll ever have to repair in our buildings.
Right.
I'm sure of it.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2024 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Discussion on those minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you very much, Commissioner Howard. Commissioner Garber.
Thank you. I move that we approve the contract with U.S. Archives for the clerk's file shift in an amount not to exceed $12,500.
Support.
Motion with support.
Very briefly, this is going to be divided over 2 years, 5,000 of it coming out of next year's budget. It's standard practice that every 5 years the files cycle from downstairs to upstairs, upstairs to out here to its storage facility, so that we only have the current 5 years available. It's all her process, she's got a plan.
Been doing a lot of that lately.
Yeah, we're not adding more files to the attic, so it's just the standard area that Caroline always uses.
We got away with it for years.
It's not 10.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the recommended budget adjustments for wages and benefits, general ledger, and all other funds as presented.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on that one?
We're 3/4 of the year through, we're just adjusting, they all balance to 0 based on healthcare, salaries, some additional expenses like the HVAC and other things that we've incurred over the years, but everything still remains balanced to our original budget numbers. Shifting between lines.
Anybody else? All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the purchase of 2 servers from Gov Connection not to exceed $28,235.
Support.
Motion with support.
This is planned maintenance. We have 2 servers that have reached the end of their life. We're replacing them. We can't afford to do them all at once, so this is part of our planned technology upgrades this year. Next year, it'll be some computers and some switches.
Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the purchase of 3 vans for the Veterans Affairs Office not to exceed $105,000 from the Fund 293-000-002-.000.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Discussion on that item.
Yeah, I would just say, again, the vans are, well, not vans, they'll be a new type of vehicle. They are much needed. We rely heavily on our volunteer drivers, and I want to stress volunteer drivers, to get our veterans safely to their medical appointments. So, money well spent.
Also, this is the veterans' money. This is money that came out, that is earmarked. There's a small millage that the veterans get. They have a reasonably significant amount of money. This isn't increasing anyone's taxes or coming from the general fund. This is a decision made by the Veterans Board. And I understand one of the vans right now is somewhat inappropriate. It does not ride well. It's got the handicapped lift on it, and they discussed that they will, when they need a lift, they will do that privately. They've already taken care of that. So the purchase of the vans. And am I remembering correctly that one of the vans is paid for partially, 2 of the vans is partially paid for by the state of the feds?
It comes out of the Saginaw VA, but I'm not sure where the money begins. It's not our money. They hit a certain mileage marker, and then the Saginaw veterans group that we work with has them turned in, and then you get new ones.
And I think the one we're actually getting about $26,000 for in trade-in.
That's correct.
So we're getting a good price on that.
I guess I wonder, in that regard, I don't know what the useful life on these vans would be. I don't know if they've reached that, or if they can be sold, and then the county would recoup, or the veterans would recoup some of the money that they spent.
They always sell the used vans. Trade them in, I believe.
Yeah, now this is the full price, so then we will get the trade-in or sell them, and the money goes back to the veterans fund.
So the idea of just running them down until they won't work is
can't
not really practicable.
You can't send in the middle of winter veterans and volunteer drivers in an unreliable vehicle or a vehicle that does not do well in the snow. I think about 5-6 years ago, they purchased a vehicle and it has not been good for them. So they're taking advantage of the fact that a couple of vehicles can be paid for from veterans, and some monies that they already have to do this. And I think it'll serve them very well.
I believe part of the reason that they're buying the van, the program that they're using from the DAV gives them a discount.
That's right.
And so once you go over the mileage, then the program
Okay.
wants you to get rid of them to then get another van.
That is correct.
That's right.
Right.
That
So
sounds
it's part of the program that we're enrolled in, that supplies us with money to get rid of, they want you to get rid of the van once they reach a certain mileage, to get a new van.
Right, again,
They
yeah.
subsidize the price, right?
The funding and the sources can be a little convoluted.
Very convoluted.
A little hard to follow why things are done sometimes. All right, anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the October 21st, 2024 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
A motion with support. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Webster.
I move to approve the replacement of 2 correctional deputies not to exceed step 3.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Any discussion on that?
Budgeted positions, 2 people have left, and we're filling the vacancies to maintain minimum required staffing for the jail.
Anybody else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the contract with Michigan Mental Health Court for a grant in the amount of $82,705, the Edward Byrd Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $79,000, the Michigan Drug Court Grant Program in the amount of $54,000, and the Swift Insurer Sanctions Probation Program Grant in the amount of $55,000, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
I have a motion with support. I think Larry was here the other day discussing this.
So just very briefly, this takes in about 1.2, or what was it? It was a substantial amount. It is 1.2 million is what he has taken in thus far over the course of these different drug court programs and different treatment courts that the circuit court judge has offered. And this is the renewal of all the ones that we've currently been doing. And it has increased this year.
Probably about $56,000.
Correct. It helps subsidize the general fund because those employees get to charge their time back to these grants for this activity, which helps in the long run.
Always happy to accept money.
Yep.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Sorry.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the appointment of Chrissy Lab and Allison Caverson as non-attorney district court magistrates as requested by the chief judge.
Support.
Got a motion with support. Brief explanation, please.
So Sharon Downing, who was the deputy court administrator for district court, retired. They separated out the magistrate and the district court administrator job. Chrissy Lab is now the court administrator for both district court and circuit court, and then Allie Caverson is the new Sharon Downing role of the assistant. So this is these are backups to the magistrate when he is not able to actually be there, or for whatever reason has an emergency, or takes vacation time, sick time, whatever the case may be, and they have limited powers that are part of their current job duties and responsibilities. And now they will, once you approve them, they'll go forth to be certified by the state so that they can do these limited roles as needed basis.
And there's no additional pay for these, this is
Part of their job duties.
Any other discussion?
It's part of their job duties, but they're both new to those job duties
Right.
as presented.
Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the purchase of 2 golf carts from Carts R Us in an amount not to exceed $15,100 from the fund 2600-301-9700000.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion on that item.
So the sheriff's posse has taken in about $21,250 in revenue, and they have a fund balance of about $30,000. So with that, they would like to replace a couple of the golf carts that they currently have with newer ones for patrolling. Now, when they go out patrolling, this is a no-cost thing to the county. They bill for their services. So this is the fare, the speedway, etc.
So in other words, when they go to patrol at the Speedway pays for their time, and that money goes into an account, and then these are being purchased from that account,
That is
from the
correct.
Sheriff's Posse designated fund.
That is
Just
correct.
to respond to that question earlier, a fair question in public comment, but this is designated, it is money that they earn and money that Owasso Speedway does pay when they go out to work, so,
That is correct.
and other entities, whenever the Sheriff's Posse goes out to work, so.
That is correct, and once upon a time, they used horses to do their patrol, they've switched to golf carts, this is, they've had a couple of aged ones that they're going to get rid of and replace with these. In addition, the Speedway also hires sheriff's deputies separate from the posse, which they pay the entire amount for. But both of these are at zero cost to the county, so.
Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the contract as presented from La Casa in an amount not to exceed $54,040 to be paid from the Child Care Fund and authorize the board chair to execute the agreement.
Support.
Have a motion with support?
Renewal of a standard contract paid for by the Child Care Fund, provides services to foster kids,
And it is reimbursed to us at 75%.
which is up from last year. We had been being reimbursed for this at 50%, now it's gonna be reimbursed at 75% from the state.
Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2024 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
So,
I have a motion with support. Any discussion regarding those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Back to you, Commissioner Garber.
thank you. I move that we approve the grant agreement between the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Shiawassee County Health Department for essential local public health services in the amount of $2,101,083 for a period of 10/1/24 through 9/30/25, and authorize the board chair to execute that contract.
Support.
Motion with support. Standard.
This is a renewal, we renew this one every year, this is the bulk of the funding that Larry gets to operate the health department.
And state.
It is state.
All right. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the grant agreement between the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Shiawassee County Health Department for essential local public health services in the amount of $1,578,931 for a period of 10/1/24 through 9/30/25, and authorize the board chair to execute that contract.
Support.
Support.
Motion with support. Discussion.
Very briefly, this pays for the school nursing program, so it pays for 9 school nurses across the county and the supplies and materials that go along with it.
Again, state money.
Well, our money.
It doesn't come out of our general fund budget.
Well, right, but
It's one of those situations with grant money that either we get it or someone else does, which is a lot of times why we take grant money. Whether we think the system is good or not, that is the system. We can't change it.
if we
So we
can't,
have to get what we can for our community.
can't beat them, join them. Right.
There's not a lot of choice here. We're county level, not state or federal level. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we approve the grant agreement between the Shiawassee County Health Department and the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, EAGLE, for environmental health services in the amount of $102,685 for the period of 10/1/24 through 9/30 of 25.
Support.
Motion with support.
This goes towards drinking water activities that the environmental health department does, including certain inspections and things of that nature.
Anything else? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we confirm the chair's appointment of Cindy Seville to the DHHS board for a period of 3 years.
Support.
Motion with support. I think Cynthia's been on that board for 35 years. We heard the other day, so I think this is a good reappointment. Any other comments on that? All in favor of approving that appointment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That appointment is approved.
I move to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2024 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Let's see, comments by myself. I'm going to keep this brief because several of us have an event after this. Wanted to comment that we've had some meetings on recycling. Nothing yet really involving the county, just trying to help out some of the problems we're having over at community mental health. There's a recycling program over there that because of new state rules might have to be eliminated, and we're trying to look at some different ways that someone else in the community might take that over and how it might be paid for. Don't worry. Also mentioned that our not called solid waste management, it's called
Materials.
Yes, our materials management.
Feeling,
The state has promised us money for that, but given us none yet, so we're still kind of holding off on making a plan. No worries on that. We have a couple of years to do that. The land bank, apparently we've got some land over in Lennon that was cleared. There's an old window factory there that's been tied up under some problems with how the land was split up and the lines drawn and a road that went through it and so on. That's all working out, and it looks real good for selling that land to a developer fairly soon. Maybe we'll get some new housing in Lennon through the land bank. That's an excellent thing. We've been through many budget meetings in the last 2-3 weeks. I think they've gone very well. Sometimes they're a little bit, I don't want to say depressing, but difficult to look at the numbers, the rising costs of things. But Dr. Boggs, department heads, Commissioner Garber has contributed, have all done an excellent job at making that go smoothly. And our budget we're going to be okay for another year. So that's all a good thing. That's all I have to say. Dr. Boggs, do you have anything for us?
Yes, just a couple of quick things. We will have a balanced budget to present to you in November. We're getting close. We have completed all the budget meetings. We're doing some fine tunings around income and expenditures, and we should have that for you for your meeting in November, for your preliminary review, and then for adoption in December before the January 1 deadline. The second thing I want to talk about is we have been approached by Foster and Swift, who we have been talking with, which is a law firm, related to the solar and wind activities that are about to happen. Now currently, there has not been any, I've been here 4 years, and there has not been any permits pulled in any of the jurisdictions that the county oversees in those 4 years. However, now that the state rules are in effect, they will be seeking probably to start pulling some because they have several lease agreements. No one has pulled anything with us because they're waiting for state approval. However, the state has promulgated their rules through the Public Service Commission, and several of their rules imply that we cannot regulate anything but the 5 areas that are mentioned in the legislation, and those are set by the state, so we have no control over them. However, Foster Swift and several communities, at least 50 so far, have joined together to file a lawsuit related to this to find out what specifically are our abilities to regulate outside of those 5 areas, and if we can regulate other items as well. And so I'm looking for permission from the Board of Commissioners to go forward with them and find out what our statutory powers are by joining on to the lawsuit by Foster and Swift.
Can I make the motion?
Please.
I'll make the motion to join the lawsuit.
Support.
I have a motion with support. We can have some,
Are we gonna do the up to 10,000
Yes.
or?
So the email from Mike Homier at Foster Swift said it will not cost more than $10,000 for our share because of so many entities joining in. So if you wish to add that.
I'll amend my motion to include the amount up to $10,000 to join the lawsuit.
10,000?
support.
$10,000, yes.
Tom did, I think.
Okay, so we had support, so this is effectively to join the lawsuit, to have it defined, and possibly try to claw back a little bit of our local control that they took away from us. I know that was a real big thing, and there's even a petition out there that didn't gather enough signatures, but we lost a great deal of local control with this new law regarding solar farms, wind farms. We don't have any wind farms here, but we might, and we won't have any way to stop it, so we're gonna see if we can force them to define more thoroughly what our powers are.
So, and keep in mind, we have adopted a pretty restrictive ordinance to prevent its spread. But because of the state law, it preempts our ordinance and it makes us have to follow certain things from the state. Well, not us following, but they would be able to go through the Public Service Commission instead of going locally to get any kind of permit to build these things, which takes away our control. But there are still some things that we believe we can regulate that are not, were not defined in the legislation, and the legislators did not say that those things were not powers of the local, they just did not mention them. And if they wanted to exclude us from having those rights, they would have done so, but they failed to do so. Therefore, we should still have some rights to regulate certain aspects, and we are challenging the Public Service Commission's way of doing this by saying that we don't have any rights at all.
The PSC is saying the opposite, that it did not delineate specific rights to us, so we don't get them. We're saying if it did not exclude them, we retain them.
Correct. Want to hit us with the Latin phrase?
Expresso unius est exclusio alterius.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Any other discussion on this motion?
I just, I think this is really important for Shiawassee County because, for example, in my district, the 2 zoning units, Perry Township and Woodhull Township, Perry City does their own zoning, but those 2 townships don't, they rely on the county. I think it's important, and I'm pleased to see the county step up and protect what zoning areas that fall within our zoning authority, that we step up to protect them from just arbitrary siting of the wind and solar and storage units. This is an important issue that we need to, as outlined by Dr. Boggs. It's
Commissioner,
important for us to
you've been very personally involved in this, beyond your commissioner duties in looking into some of the legalities and some of the things that can be done by the county, isn't that correct? And by the state, actually.
That's true, and I've talked with folks up in Cohocton Township in Livingston County. They got real active in this, and in addition to these issues that we're gonna raise in this lawsuit, which are really kind of technical, legal issues, I also think that in the future, one of the things that we have to look at is the environmental impacts of these facilities, be they solar, and I don't call them farms because there ain't nothing agricultural about them, maybe anti-agriculture. The wind, we need to look at, we have in this state, and we're the only state in the nation that has an environmental protection provision in our Constitution, which means that even the legislature, when it passed this law that preempting us, is bound by the Constitution. So we have a constitutional provision protecting our environment, and we have a state law, the Environmental Protection Act, passed by the state legislature that protects our environment. And I think a strong argument could be made that in certain circumstances, particularly if you're using valuable farmland, that would be a violation, that would be a destruction of our natural resources. I should step back. Both the Constitution and the state statutes say that you can't undertake activities which would pollute, impair, or destroy, is the key provision, air, water, and other natural resources. And I think we can make a strong argument that farmland is a valuable natural resource. It needs to be protected, and there are provisions under state law that we could proceed to raise those issues in addition to the issues being raised in this particular lawsuit. This provision doesn't necessarily cover these environmental issues at this point. I think we may have to address that later, but we'll see how this litigation goes.
And I would note that this will apply to all of our areas. It'll help everyone. But remember, we do not do planning and zoning for every township and municipality in the county. We do not do Owassos, Caledonias, Venice, Vernon, or Hazelton Township. They do their own.
I have a question. Do you know if a provision of this lawsuit is to put a moratorium on further development
I think
until it's been resolved?
they will be asking for some kind of injunctive relief to prevent the statute from being implemented until such time as those questions are resolved, because it would create irreparable harm.
It wouldn't be a moratorium per se, but it would be injunctive relief,
Okay.
which is within a legal structure. It would have a similar.
Any other discussion? Gary?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but it's pretty hard to fight the state. They got the power and the glory, and they're gonna do what they want anyway, so. Just sit back and cry.
We're gonna have strength in numbers, I think, Gary,
big
so
deal.
we'll see.
50 counties?
Try.
That's more than that.
Well, and they've got townships too, so it's a combination of
Okay,
different
entities, okay.
Largely, Cohocton Township has been pushing on this very hard.
As a former attorney for the state, I can tell you that at times the state has lost lawsuits. It isn't just a matter of numbers. The state doesn't always prevail on these things, and I think we have a responsibility on behalf of local governments to step up to this.
Further discussion? In that case, we have a motion on the table. I'd ask for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
I abstain.
Can't abstain.
there's no
You don't have a conflict of interest, you have to vote yes or no.
I think I got a conflict. So.
What's your conflict?
Huh? You abstained before when Tom was here. He
He
abstained.
said he had a conflict of interest. What's,
Well, my conflict is my personal conflict.
you have
So,
to describe it.
what? I described it.
What is it?
I just said that I think it's a waste of money because I think that the state's going to do what they want anyway. So.
Sounds like a no vote to me.
That's a
Vote no.
Will you be voting yes or no, Gary?
I abstain. I said you guys let it happen before, so I can do what I want. So.
I don't think I can force you to vote, but it is against the rules that you abstain when there is no financial conflict of interest.
Usually happened before, so. It just depends who you are, that's all it is.
Are you refusing to vote? I'll take that as a yes, you're refusing to vote.
I said abstain.
Caroline, if you would move on, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. At this time, we have our last opportunity to address this board. You have up to 3 minutes. Anybody want to address this board? Seeing no one, we're adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, we're not adjourned. I unadjourned us. Go ahead.
I just wanted to
please.
bring up the thing about that solar and wind, because when they passed that law, they had nothing in there about stormwater review or the county or inter-county drains, okay? So we got them to put that in there. They have to file a plan, and then the Michigan Public Service Commission let us meet with them, and they didn't even know what county drains were, that we had easements, nothing. They didn't know any of that. So we've got a committee that's put together legal review, engineering checklist, and once we get this done, because we're meeting with them again Tuesday, because it's like you said, they filed an order on the 11th, and then the townships filed the lawsuit on the 16th. So, but we've had a committee for the last 6 months putting stuff together, because, you know, we didn't know what was going to happen here. We want to protect our drains and our stormwater, and that's all that drain commissioners have the power to do, is review the stormwater and protect our county drains. So we'll share, once we get our pamphlet, our booklet together, we're going to share that with the county and all the townships too, so that who knows what's going to happen with this. So
Thank you. Anyone else?
I did. I'm sorry you were.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I have something to say. I wanted to remind everyone that early voting starts this Saturday for 9 days. So it is this Saturday, the 26th, through Sunday, the November 3rd. Our hours are 9 to 6, except for on Wednesday, 9 to 5, except for on Wednesday, 10 to 6. I will not be at November's meetings. I will hopefully be in Myrtle Beach. And I wanted to tell you that one of my early voting inspectors made a suggestion. I've talked with Dr. Boggs about this, as far as painting, doing a contest with the schools, the high schools and their art programs, to have students do a mural on the back of where our early voting site is. And I don't know any details yet, but because it's the county building, I wanted to say that we thought it was a good idea, something I would work on next year, so that in 2026, that everybody would know where the early voting site entrance is, so that they can't follow the signs, they would see it on the back of the building. So, it's
Yeah,
pretty
it would
cool.
look a lot nicer than our current paint structure. Would that also be fair to say?
So I'll keep you informed as that progresses
Alright.
forward, but.
So as the old joke goes, vote early and vote often, and
You're dead.
all right. Is there anyone else I ignored? All right, now we really are adjourned this time. All right.